Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. So I, 28 female, had been helping with expenses ever since my stepmom lost her job. This was after my dad, her husband, passed away, leaving us as the only family we had. I had my own house and a stable job, so I didn't mind assisting her financially. But I'm sure most of the money I contributed, she used to support my stepsister, who was my stepmom's daughter. We'll call her Ellie, 17, female. I never complained about the financial burden, even though sometimes I could tell that my stepmom would lie to me about a certain thing just so I could give more money. Like one time, she said the roof on her room was leaking and she had to call someone to fix it and needed the money to do so. So I gave her the money, but it turns out Ellie wanted to get her hair done. I knew this because one of my friends works at the salon she went to, and Ellie had let slip that her mom gave her the money. And I also confirmed that there was never a leak. They've done this more than once where they would lie to get more money out of me, but I just stayed silent. I didn't want any trouble. I just kept helping my stepmom with her finances. Anyways, recently my stepsister and my stepmom had a major falling out, and Ellie ran off with her girlfriend. After a few days, my stepmom called me, sounding frustrated, and asked if Ellie could live with me for a while. At first, I was hesitant because me and Ellie weren't very close and I valued my own personal space more than anything, because I've worked hard to build it. The thought of living with another person was exhausting to me because I had anxiety. But my stepmom was persistent and convinced me that it was temporary and necessary. So I had no choice but to let her move in. So yesterday, Ellie moved in with me. What I wasn't informed about, however, was that she would be bringing her girlfriend along. I was taken by surprise when they both arrived at my doorstep. Feeling uncomfortable with a stranger in my house, I decided to have a conversation with Ellie. She irritatingly explained that she thought my stepmom had informed me about her girlfriend coming along and she couldn't just ask her to leave when she's already here. I was frustrated and upset because I didn't want an unexpected third party in my home. I felt betrayed that I wasn't informed beforehand. Having my stepsister move in was already a challenging decision for me. I called my stepmom about this and she pretended to be shocked and told me she forgot to tell me. Before I could tell her anything, she hung up the phone. I talked with Ellie about being uncomfortable with having another person in my home, and we ended up having a heated argument. And Ellie eventually left with a girlfriend. This created even more tension with my stepmom, who accused me of kicking out her daughter. They went as far as calling me homophobic, which wasn't the case at all. I wasn't just prepared for the sudden change in living arrangements. They kept calling and texting me names and even got other relatives to do so too, just because I didn't want a stranger in my house. The constant harassment and accusations were taking a toll on my mental health. It triggered my anxiety and I felt like I had had enough. After numerous failed attempts to reason with them, I decided to cut off all contact with my stepmom and stepsister. That means I wasn't going to be helping them with their expenses anymore. Now I'm left wondering if I was the a-hole in this situation. I never wanted to cut them off, but I also needed to prioritize my own well-being and the comfort of my home. So am I the a-hole for taking the step? Update. Thank you so much to everyone who sent me encouraging comments and saying I wasn't the a-hole in this scenario. And I did cut them off entirely. Yesterday, my uncle called me asking if my stepmom could talk to me. It turns out she was having a hard time without me helping with expenses anymore. I told my uncle I didn't want to talk to her and he agreed with my decision. Even my uncle thought it was time that I stopped helping them financially when they treated me so poorly. You're not the a-hole, OP. Your stepmom and stepsister are. Your uncle is right. It's time you stop helping them out when they don't appreciate your help, take advantage of your kindness, and treat you poorly. You help them even when you know they're taking advantage of you. The least they can do is be nice to you and be grateful. Your stepmom needs to understand that just because you help doesn't mean you're dumb. She obviously thinks you are though, because not only did she send her daughter to come live with you, but her girlfriend came along too. You refusing to accommodate them isn't you being homophobic. It's you saying no to having a stranger in your home. For your mental health, cut ties with them and don't look back. Story 2. My husband, 27 male, has been planning a trip for about 4 years with some close friends. The trip kept being postponed due to some of his friends having family deaths, financial issues, and unfortunate world events. My husband is finally gonna be able to leave within 2 months. The issue I, 21, have is that I'm pregnant and he is leaving near my due date. This is my first child and I don't want to go through childbirth alone. I don't have a family other than my husband. My dad's died and my mom is mentally ill. I just want his support throughout the process. But he's making me feel really bad about asking him to postpone just a trip so he can be here for his daughter and I. He told me that it's honestly not that big of a deal. He said when he was at the hospital for his son from a previous relationship, that the birth only took an hour and that the nurses were very supportive. I also don't want to care for his son after I come home from the hospital alone. He plans on being away for a month and has sole custody. His son goes to his mom's every other weekend, but sometimes his mom won't even show up. He hasn't made any plans on where his son is going to go after I come home from the hospital. His sister agreed to take him while I'm in the hospital, but she can't do any longer as she has a full-time job and doesn't want to take too much time off work. He told me I'll be able to handle everything by myself and begged to drop the issue because he's been planning this for so long and is really excited to go. He even offered to pay me for all the hardships and told me women take care of children after coming home from the hospital all the time. I do understand that this wasn't exactly planned and I feel awful about the whole situation. A huge part of me just wants to drop the issue and find a way to deal with everything by myself. I mean, his friends are calling me a wet blanket. I don't want to be a wet blanket and spoil everyone's fun. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole, OP. Your husband is going to be away for a month. When he has sole custody of his son right near your due date, your husband is seriously messed up. Even if you have the easiest delivery ever, and I hope you do, you deserve to have your husband, the father of your child, supporting you. You will need someone at home to take care of things, as you adjust to taking care of your child. And I know no one likes to think about this, but if something goes wrong, he needs to be there. Good luck, OP. I hope you find the support you deserve. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. And this is maybe the second saddest Am I the a-hole I've ever read. You're very young. I'm assuming you've been together at least a year before getting married and pregnant, which means you were maybe 19 when you got together. Dude is taking advantage of you, and if this is how he's treating one of the most important moments in his life, I have bad news for you. It won't get better ever. So his friends can cancel the trip due to their issues, but you having a baby and being upset about him going away for a month makes you a wet blanket. It's nice that his son came in 1 hour, but that's not typical of labor. Anything can happen. Sounds like he is super selfish and has his priorities mixed up. If he can't pull his child first before it's even born, it doesn't speak well of how he will be after. It takes 2 to make a baby and shouldn't be all your responsibility to take care of it. I was born via C-section. My mom was told to lay down for a few days, but that didn't happen. She was immediately on her feet taking care of me, my half-sister from my dad's previous marriage, and dad. A decade later, she had to have a hysterectomy because everything was bent out of shape, etc. Yes, women are on their feet immediately after birth sometimes. It's because their significant others are a-holes who don't consider the well-being of either mother or child. OP is not the a-hole, but her husband needs to watch the Try Guys videos about motherhood, particularly the one where they experience a labor pain simulation. Story 3. Me, 31 male, and Taylor, 30 male, have been best friends since forever. We were school buddies, college friends. My parents love him. We've vacationed together many times. Taylor is a very affectionate person, kind, thoughtful guy. 3 years ago, me and Anne, 31 female, started dating. And now I'm pretty sure she's the love of my life. Brilliant woman all around. We're getting married next January. The conflict. After a long and thoughtful conversation, my fiancé voiced her concerns about inviting Taylor to our wedding. Basically, she had 2 main reasons for asking him that. Number 1, dress code. Taylor is a 30-year-old punk. He wore a dress to our prom. You know, that kind of guy. Number 2, Taylor is dating a guy, which is not the problem, but his partner is also very flamboyant. Anne wants a very minimalistic, quiet, calm wedding because she struggles with anxiety and ADHD. So that was her request. I talked to Taylor the next day, and I told him about Anne's concerns. Tay said, "Do you think I'm gonna show up in a white dress?" and laughed about it. But I told him he needed to promise he would respect the dress code. Black tuxedo for the guys, that was the code. I got a little caught up in the moment, so maybe I was harsher than I should have been. I told him to man up and to act his age. I said some stupid stuff like, "People laugh about you, you want to be a joke?" He said, "Sure, no problem." And the next day he declined the online invitation. He keeps telling me we're good and everything is okay, but the situation is bothering me. I love Tay, but I know he can be difficult. My group chat with my family is burning because they don't understand why he will not be there. And our friends group chat is dead since the news dropped. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. This could have been a really easy, "Hey, it's important to my fiancé that everyone respects the dress code." Telling him to man up, act his age, people laugh about you, is beyond rude and mean. It's cruel. If I was Taylor, I wouldn't attend your wedding either. You need to apologize and take responsibility for being a prick if you have any chance of maintaining this friendship, though I don't know why Taylor would want to. Of course you're the a-hole. The only a-hole thing Taylor is doing is staying friends with you because it is incredibly disrespectful to his partner. You want him to act his age, but accepting yourself for who you are and being kind to other people are way more mature traits than calling someone a punk and that kind of guy. You are disgusting, bigoted homophobe who is not secure in what masculinity is. I kind of love the way Taylor is handling this. Zero drama, refusing to engage, leaving OP to sit and stew about it. Either OP has always had an issue with the way Taylor acts and dresses, and it's just now spilling out, or his wife is really pressuring him and is transferring his frustration onto his friend. Either way, he used Taylor's perceived unmasculine traits to treat his friend like shit. And I'm sorry, but what does ADHD have to do with not wanting your guests to dress flamboyantly? Is she afraid she will be so distracted that she can't focus on her own wedding?